We've got a system of linear equations that looks suspiciously non-linear, but we won't let that stop us. This first column is all x squared. So let's substitute x sub 1 for x squared. Same thing here with this x times y. They're all the same. So we'll make that x sub 2. And then finally, our x sub 3 will be y squared. Let's create a matrix. -1, 3, and 2. And our coefficients are 1, 13, and 0. There's our x1 column. There's our x2 column. There's our x3 column. And here's our constants. Let's transform this. We've got a 1 up here, which is really nice. So let's just keep these the same for now. But let's make a note of double that row, because that's what we're going to subtract from row 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. -1 minus 2 is -3. 3 minus 2 is 5. And 13 minus 2 is 11. Beauty. In this same step, let's convert this -3 into a leading 1. So we're going to multiply that row by -1/3. 1. -5/3, -11/3. For the bottom row, we've got a 1 here, so we'll subtract the top row. That gives us our 0 here, 1 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 3. And 0 minus 1 is -1. We want this 2 to become a 0, so let's subtract from it twice this second row. We'll write those numbers up here just for reference. This is twice this second row. And now we'll subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. Yay. 2 minus 2 is 0. 3, so 9/3 minus 10/3 is 19/3. And -1, that is -3/3 minus 22/3 is again 19/3. Now we'll just multiply this bottom row times 3/19, so we end up with a 1 in either slot. Voila! We now have 3 leading 1s. Let's work on making zeros above them all. For our first row, we'll subtract the second row. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. -1, so -3/3. Minus 5/3, so plus 5/3. That gives us 2/3. 3/3 minus 11/3, so plus 11/3 equals 14/3. And now we wish to convert these figures into 0. From the top row, we'll subtract 2/3 of the bottom row. So that's going to be 2/3 and 2/3. So 1 minus 2/3 of 0, that's just 1. 0 minus 2/3 of 0 is 0. 2/3 minus 2/3 of 1 is 0. 14/3 minus 2/3 of 1, that's going to be 12/3 or 4. Nice number. Now for the second row, we will add 5/3 of the third row. So 0 plus 5/3 of 0 is 0. 1. And then this takes care of it here. And then we've got minus 11/3 plus 5/3. -6/3, which is -2. And then here we keep our 0, 0, 1, and 1. This, my friends, is our reduced row echelon form that we have been wanting so much. Let's read off the solutions. X sub 1 equals 4. X sub 2 equals negative 2, and x sub 3 equals 1. And now remember our substitutions. X sub 1 is x squared. X sub 2 is x times y, and x sub 3 is y squared. This leaves us with x equals plus or minus 2. Because xy is negative, then y and x have to have opposite signs. So 1 equals y squared, y will equal minus or plus 1. And there's our two possible solutions. X, y equals 2 comma negative 1 or negative 2 comma 1. Try out each pair of solutions in our original equations, and Bob is your uncle.